Well, weren't we told that Epstein did kill himself?
What?
There is no client list.
What?
Judicial Watch says,
But wait! There's more!
the DOJ gets caught talking to the courts and says the Epstein records are still under review.
You're kidding.
Just when you thought the game was over. I'm Jazz Borgonzo on this. After the DOJ got his pants pulled down, you'd think it couldn't get any worse.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, it has.
Fuck.
And it's what's next. What's up, everyone? Jazz Borgonzo. What's next? Your daily dose. Common sense, facts, and salt. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this Friday. Of course, it's the end of the week. Always a good thing going into the weekend. But we're going to close off with this. After two of the biggest stories this week, you got the destructive nature of the Texas flooding. So many people's lives were ended. You know, a bunch of children at a summer camp lost their lives. And then we had Jeffrey Epstein, the name that just won't die. What is it, 5, 6 years now? You know, conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory about that. No, he didn't kill himself. There are files, there are flight logs, this, that, and the other. Epstein Island, the Clintons are involved, yada, yada, yada. Well, Pam Bondi comes out in February, talks to Fox News, says, I've got the files on my desk. And everybody was riding high. They were like, all right, shit's about to go down. You know, we're getting things done. This is going to be exposed once and for all. Flight logs, you know, who's on the list, who's on the list, big names, not so big names, 6 months later, no client list, and Epstein did kill himself. Why? Because we got the video footage. That's missing a minute. And anyway, that has been debunked by a number of people over the last 48 to 72 hours. But anyway, just when you thought that it couldn't get any worse for Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and President Trump because it's egg on his face, no, it gets worse. Judicial Watch steps up and says, wait, hold on there. There's more to this. The DOJ is talking out of both sides of their mouths because they got caught talking to courts and says the Epstein records are still under review. While they're saying that there's no client list and there are no records to be reviewed. And here we go. This comes out of Gateway Pundit. Judicial Watch, Pam Bondi's DOJ tells court it's still reviewing Epstein records for potential release while publicly signaling it's game over. They're saying there's nothing to see here. Go back to your homes while the place is burning down. All right. The Department of Justice under Attorney General Pam Bondi has been caught speaking out both sides of his mouth, while DOJ insiders quietly tell a federal judge that they're sifting through Jeffrey Epstein's sordid records, including potential names of high-profile clients. The same agency issued a memo declaring no more documents would ever see the light of day. Judicial Watch, the conservative watchdog group, relentlessly pursuing accountability, revealed on July 7th, court filing that DOJ and FBI claim that they are still reviewing records in a response to a Freedom Information Act lawsuit seeking documents on Epstein's network of elites. These records include names of clients, communications regarding infamous client list, and all materials housed in the FBI and DOJ's treasure trove of sealed files. But just one day prior, a leaked DOJ FBI memo surfaced claiming that the government has already provided, quote, maximum information and has no intention of releasing anything else. Blatant bait and switch. The Justice Department and the FBI are sending out contradictory messages, telling the American people that there are no more Epstein materials will be released, while telling the federal court in our case that the Epstein FOIA review is still proceeding, said the Judicial Watch President Tom Fenton. We will be relentless in demanding transparency under the law. Let's see, Judicial Watch. The Justice Department and the FBI are sending out contradictory messages. Okay, just said that. Excuse me. Let's see, transparency on the law. Gateway Pundit has previously reported that during an interview with Steve Bannon on War Room. Now, take Steve Bannon however you want to take him. Me, I take him with a grain of salt. Judicial Watch President Tom Fenton unloaded on President Trump administration for what he describes as an outrageous attempt to sweep Jeffrey Epstein's client list scandal under the rug, suggesting it may be worse than what we've seen from dementia. That's saying a lot. Finn, known for his relentless pursuit of government transparency, expressed shock over recent leaked memo from the DOJ and FBI, one that originated under Trump's own watch. The memo conveniently leaked to Axios claimed there is no incriminating client list, no credible blackmail evidence, no grounds for investigating uncharged individuals connected to Epstein's massive sex trafficking operation. Quote, I read the memo 3 or 4 times again this morning. I don't think that even Biden administration would have had written anything like this. I just don't think that they could have thought they could get away with it. I've got no wonder what's going on at the leadership of the Justice Department and the FBI to allow them to think that statements like this are acceptable. Finn continued. This is classic, of course. We're suing this stuff, right? So we're suing for this stuff, right? And so they say the systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So there's a client list, but not incriminating. So therefore, I can't see it. There's no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. Well, give us the incredible evidence. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation under uncharged third parties. The uncovered evidence, but wasn't enough to predicate an investigation? You can go line by line, go through the analysis I'm going through, but it may be unfair and overly critical. But in my review, unless you have the records to back up the conclusions you have drawn in a case such as this isn't worth much. According to Finn, this just is another bureaucratic failure. It's part of a coordinated campaign to protect the powerful, the perverted, and the politically connected.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
You can't say, well, there's no client list. Epstein did bump himself off. But in the meantime, we still have Epstein files to be reviewed. So here, judge, take a look at these. Let us know what's going on, because we're telling the American people they ain't shit here, but we know there's shit here. Anyway, this is ridiculous. They got embarrassed as they got their pants pulled down. They got slapped on their ass in front of the American people after they told the American people, after we were told for years that yes, there are flight logs proven to be fact. Yes, there is a client list. All of a sudden now, there is none. Epstein didn't bump himself off. Well, turned out he did bump himself off. And Ghislaine Maxwell is sitting in prison for 20 years for sex trafficking. To whom? To whom? Why isn't she released? Because there's nothing going on here. Nothing to see here. Why is she why is she still in prison? Why? Who is she sex trafficking to? The air? Mythical creatures? What was she doing? These underage individuals that were escorted to Epstein's Island were given to somebody. They weren't just given to, nobody. The continuous bullshit that goes on. After Trump was riding high, executive order after executive order, slamming the woke, correcting issues that dementia had fucked up the last 4 years. Tom Homan cracking down on border, on the border. We had ICE agents going into cities and taking care of business. Then this comes out and it basically slaps Trump dead in his face. And then Trump bitching the other day, why are we still talking about Epstein with everything else going on in the world today? Well, guess what? This is why. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Excuse me. Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll see you next time. Peace.